Hello there, and we are live. See ya, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, you're welcome to the show, and I'm getting
Mr.
calls now.
Popular, as always. Mr. Popular, as always.
My phone is ringing, man. So yeah, guys, we've come to the end of the season. This is the season roundup of the Round and Claude show. Of course, during the summer, we'll be doing bits and pieces of content here and there, but not on full mode until next season. So uh, Ryan, Onomel wants to come to the show. Do you want him to come around?
Yeah, well, we can bring someone in a little bit later on. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
We'll do our little bits to start with, and then yeah, man. Special guests are always welcome, and we always say it. Anyone is welcome.
Okay. Yeah. So I'll send him the links when I want him to come in. So yeah. Ryan, end of the season. Episode 24, season roundup, Round and Claude show. Man, what do you think? CFCOG, you're welcome to the show, man. That's our guy, CFCOG, down there. Yeah, started with this guy and lovely human being to me, and since then he's always been a very close friend of mine. Big up to you, CFCOG. CFCOG, if you want to come into the show, you could pop in. Probably maybe in the next 20 minutes. I'll just send you the link to the show. Ryan, end of the season. We're here, episode 24, man. Lots of thanks to you, to your family, to your wife for allowing you to do this all the time with me. Ryan, we're here, man. End of the season, second, not a success for me, but a progress. From eight, fifth, second, progress, but not a success full season for me. But we're here. Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, it's. I don't know about you, but the season's flown by. It's absolutely. It's weird that we're at the end of the season. I remember doing our first show like it was last Friday. Stuck in the back of a William Hill shop was where I first did mine from because I couldn't get out on time, so I had to do it from in the back and hide all the warning notices. I can say that now because I'm no longer with the company, so they can't sack me for it because I ain't there no more anyway. So that's fine,
Yeah.
but. I tell you what, when we first started I was expecting of not a mediocre season, but I didn't expect the season that we've had for a start. I thought we'd be fighting for Champions League, maybe finish fourth, possibility of finishing fifth again. And I knew that other teams were getting stronger, or I knew there's just strong teams in the league. So yeah, I didn't expect us to still be here at the end of the season. I'll say that. And I didn't expect us to go through the season that we went through. And for them doing the normal Arsenal shows, to doing the watch-alongs during the World Cup and some of the watch-alongs during the season, it's been really good, man. I've really enjoyed it, and it's been a good season. And as always, just thanks to you, Tony, for just letting me giving me the time, letting me to come on and then naming a show, the Ryan and Claude show. Putting my name first was a big surprise. As you'll see from below, it says assistant to the presenter because I am always Tony's assistant, and that is fine with me. Maybe not the beautiful assistant that you'd ask for, but I'm definitely your assistant. And man, just big love for letting us do this, and hopefully we continue it next season and have another great season, man. It might have ended not like we wanted it to end, but it's not like we expect it to end because we didn't expect to finish second. So just continue it going forward. And you've just got to say it's been a good season, really, from perspective of where we finished last year. It's just been a good season, man.
Yeah, see, Ryan, you know me, I come with a shocker all the time. Yeah, see, like I've already said before the start of this season. Yeah, I wasn't really seeing like last season. The way we got off, and just completely capitulated in the last 10 games of last season. The confidence wasn't high getting into the season. But when we went on to get Gabriel Jesus, yeah, and I saw Gabriel Jesus walk in and Zichenko walk in. I was like, okay, something is really happening here, yeah? Because if there's anything that we know about Arsenal have been missing, this this big players, big impact players that can come in and just take the game, at the scruff of the neck and just help us see games out. And this is what Gabriel Jesus has done for Man City, before he came in. Yeah, it wasn't your normal regular starting kind of guy, but it was this kind of guy that had the experience. He's won titles with the best coach in the world for me, Pep Guardiola. He's been with that City team, experienced in that team, knows how to win a title, knows how to grab a goal when he should or when he's being called upon. All these things, yeah, just made me feel at the start of the season that Arsenal, could do something this season. Yeah, and of course, the bringing in of Zichenko too was quite good for me. But it was just our January transfer window. That's when everything turned sore for me. Yeah, like, I wanted to see big names come in, but we're going in for Caicedo, haggling with the price, and when Caicedo didn't come in, seeing Jorginho, I know I was in a show with you after Jorginho came, and yeah, you were like, and you were trying to make it so positive, but I was just looking at the Jorginho signing like, no, God, is this what we began for? Another Chelsea reject, another Chelsea pensioner. But to be very fair, yeah, Jorginho has been, he's been okay.
Yeah,
He's
he come in
been
and done
okay.
what he's
Yeah.
done what we've asked him to do, and he's been that level head. He's been the level-headed player that we needed, especially with Partey going a bit off the boil towards the end of the season. He's stepped up and deputised for him very well, and played very well in Partey's absence. So yeah, he did. He basically did what we needed him to do. It was kind of a last-minute signing because we weren't able to get the Caicedo signing over the line. So it was a last minute signing for that. So hopefully the summer transfers a step up in a more quality player.
Okay, see, at the start of the season, yeah, when we're winning these games, yeah, like emotionally, where were you? Because we're going to all these places, yeah, turning over these teams, beating them left, right, and center. Like, did you feel okay? This is it. This is our time to win the league. Like, what was your feeling at the time when we're
Honestly,
winning this game?
I didn't know what was happening at some points. It was just I was flummoxed by it all. We were playing teams away that I expected us to maybe get a draw or lose in other seasons, and we were able to turn them over. We were winning at home as well. The Chelsea result, beating Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, was I know they've had a bad season, but
Yeah.
that was only just beginning then, and they were still they weren't great, but they weren't terrible at the same time. And to get that one over the line was really good. To beat Liverpool at home was amazing. So some of them
That was chilling, man.
some of them
That was cool to
like
just beat Liverpool at
the
home.
Liverpool
It felt
result,
great.
the scoreline was close, but the game wasn't. And just the way we
Mm,
played against these teams, I was like, okay, maybe we're actually stepping up. And then we had the loss at United at Old Trafford early on, and I
mm,
thought, is this where it ends, kind of thing? But then we just stepped up in the next games. I remember we did a show immediately after the United game, and I think I said it on the show. I just was staring out my window, saying, I can't do this, man. I can't go on and do a show straight after we've lost United. I'm not that kind of person. I'm just raging or not speaking or angry. And like I said, my partner was like, just you've got to do it. You've signed up for this. Just be level-headed and just put your opinions across. And eventually we got over it. And then, but yeah, then we carried on, and then we just got back to winning. And what like a good team does, they have the setbacks, but then they smash through them and crack on just as well. And yeah, I was just shocked, man. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't realize we was this good.
Yeah.
We had Zinchenko came in, who I didn't rate as that highly. I thought he was a great player, but I didn't think he was like as good as what he turned out to be, especially in them first few games. Sorry. Yeah, he was just really, really good. And then the World Cup happened, and then after January transfer window, the form's gone out the window. We needed to improve. We were cocky in the Jan transfer window, believing that we didn't need anyone.
In a way.
Maybe it was a bit amateurish kind of thing. Like we'd not. Yeah, we were top of the league, but we all knew that we needed some strength in depth or some added quality in the first team. Your likes of Caicedo and the Mudryk transfer that we tried to go would have been the ones that either added to the bench or got that quality on in the first team. So but like you're saying at the beginning, my thoughts was just like, what is going on? I didn't know. It was a surprise. Obviously, we've supported Arsenal for years through good times and really, really bad times. So, it was like, are we going to be as good as what we were when we were winning leagues? And and then I started to have the belief that we would do it. And then
I would do it, right?
As soon as I got the belief, it turned sour. That's what it is. They set me up for fall, like always. But yeah, man, it's the end of the season, and I'm still confident that we can go on and make some signings and just come back even stronger. So I'm positive for the future.
Ryan, hey, we have True City fan. He says, "Let's go, the assembled, our brother." See, come rain, come shine, yeah. This guy, the assembled, yeah, he's been he's been a fan, yeah, of this channel, yeah. He's contributed to this channel. This guy is one of the best. I've never seen this guy before. One day I would like to invite him to the show. I don't know where to find him. So the assembled, please, if you can get to my Instagram, send me a message or just leave me where I could contact you so that one day it would be good for you to come around here and just share your opinion piece with me and Ryan. It would be very, very good. It would be nice to have you because you've been one of this, fan of this channel that have really
definitely
helped us. You've been with us through thick and thin. When others are not here, you're here with us. Come rain, come sun. Thank you very much, man. And we have True City fan who is here. Welcome, man. If you're a City fan, brother, man, there's nothing to see here, man. You guys have won the title, but we'll have another crack at it next season. See, Ryan.
Tony, just before you go on, just jump that assembled comment back on because there's a question on there.
It's a question. Yeah. The assembled asked Ryan a question here. He said, Ryan, all of this renewal of contract is like signing a new player. Do you think this contract money will be taken from the alleged war chest? What do you think? Mind you, the PR spin is that Arsenal have got about 200 million pounds to spend. Right?
Yeah, so I don't think the wage increases will take off the transfer kitty because these contract renewals, these talks with the agents go on all season. So that these figures would have been put forward to their agents months ago. They possibly agreed in principle to sign as well months ago. We look at the Saka signing. We knew that was going ahead in about February. And then you had a publication video and interviews with Ian Wright and all that kind of stuff. So lots of things go on, obviously, behind the scenes. And the contract discussions and renewals would have been going on pretty much all season. Your likes of Saliba, as soon as he started to step up, contracts negotiations will go on there. There's contract talks at the minute going on with Odegaard as well. You look at the likes of Reece Nelson, who apparently we've offered a contract to. So a lot of these go on in the background. You'll have a separate transfer. A separate transfer budget along with the wage budget, so I don't think it will it will enact on the actual transfer budget pretty much at all. So I'm pretty sure we can go ahead, tie these big players up to these good long contracts, and then move on with the signings perfectly.
See, we'll come into contract and signings later on. But Ryan, since this is a season review, yeah, at what point, which game did you see Arsenal play that you knew or you felt this is it? We've lost this title. Like, which of these games that either we drew or we won or anyone, or that we lost in them, did you have this feeling like, okay, this title it's not coming home?
It was at home to Man City, losing 3-1. The performance wasn't bad in any way, to be honest. It was just the fact that we'd lost it, the fact that they'd shown a better winner's mentality to win it. That comes in with the fact that we didn't play badly. They still got the win, same as what they did last year. And that's what I mean. I tie it in with last year's victory at the Emirates. The fact that we smashed them last year and they still managed to get that win because they've just got that winner's mentality, and that's shown in that game. And I knew that the confidence was going to take a hit from that, and losing in the FA Cup against them the week before as well. I knew the confidence was probably going to take a hit. And then, pretty much from that game, I had a feeling that it probably wasn't going to work out for us. We had the 2-2 away at Liverpool, which isn't the worst result. I've no issue with the result. The issue with the fact that we smashed them in the first half and we nearly lost. It would have been definitely over then. But then the draw with West Ham and the Southampton game at the Emirates, not beating Southampton.
Ryan, you're reopening wounds, man.
I know.
You're reopening wounds and hurts, man.
It was, for me, it was the City game, because if we could have taken a point from them 2 games, or even 3 points, I feel like we could have beaten at home and then lost away. Or if we'd have drawn at home and lost away, it still would have been in our hands. Confidence wouldn't have taken that much of a hit, because losing at the Etihad isn't an issue. Real Madrid got smashed there 4-0, I think. What was it? So teams go to Man City and lose. There's no problem there, but not winning at home, or at least not drawing, is the biggest issue, because we could afford to let 3 points go. So we didn't have to beat them, or we didn't have to take any points at the Etihad. But the fact that then we went there and needed to. And then they got our hopes up again by beating Newcastle away, which is a mental result. And then so our hopes were back up again. And then but by then it was pretty much all over anyway. If there's any one result, I'll look at the City result. We're taking our confidence away and giving the confidence to Man City.
Brian, for me, losing to City, there's no shame. Losing to City beats everyone, So I'm not really like, maybe apart from Brentford, right? Home and away this season, Brentford doing a job against City. But the thing there is that City game for me did not really define anything, because I really did feel that Arsenal could actually lose both ties against City and still win that title. I genuinely had that feeling that we could still lose those 2 games against City, and with the points we've raked up, it's just enough for us to keep going if we could have won the other games.
That is true. In fact, of the amount of points we had, that is true. But then we would then have to go on and win every single game pretty much. And it's just not going to happen. We're going to draw. But City, when since I think December or January, the last loss was against Tottenham in January. Then they went on a full winning every single game. The only one they lost is at the end of the season when it doesn't matter. So if we did lose them 2 games, we technically could have won it. Factually, we could have won it on points, but it would have meant winning every single game, and it's such a hard task in the Premier League to win every single game.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, where I felt that we lost this title, even after we lost against City, I still had that feeling like we could still do it. But when it got to that game against Southampton, that was where everything just came downhill. Every iota of belief I had was taken away from that game. Brian, the donuts of see, there's a reason why I call them the donuts of the league. These guys, they've not even played the last 4 games of the season, and we already knew that they were, relegated. The donuts of the league. We couldn't just win. And Ryan conceded in the first 30 seconds. That should be the fastest goal ever scored, right? I don't know, man. But
no, it's about 9 seconds, I think. I think it's I could be wrong, but I think it's Di Canio or someone like that scored in about 10 seconds, 9 or 10 seconds.
But Ryan, that goal, the way this guy started up that game, I was like, what is this? And it was a home game. It was a home game. And then in the second goal, we just allowed, would I say club legend? I don't think so. Theo Walcott. But it was a great player for Arsenal.
He's a good player, he was a good player.
Yeah,
good legend, player, but he's a good player.
Not legend, But maybe in 30, 40 years' time, they will call him a legend. You know how things changes, right? But he was a good player when he played for Arsenal. Won few FA Cups for us. Ryan, when he scored a goal, this guy, and when he came into that match, I think Theo Walcott hasn't scored in like about 10, 15 games.
10, 15 years.
15 games.
About 10, 15 years. No man games.
Okay. So, and then him just coming and scoring a goal again at the Emirates, quieting the Arsenal faithfuls in our own stadium, man. My heart just broke. It just, it just came to me, that we've lost the league at that point. Because even after that City game, I was like still hopeful because of the games and and the point we've been able to rake up. Aside from those City games, the Liverpool game, I wasn't really sad because, of course, genuine big teams go to Liverpool and fumble at the end of the day. City went to Liverpool and they beat them up down there. So Arsenal going down there to get a 2-2 draw. I was like, okay, let's just accept that. But to that Southampton game and to top it all off up. That West Ham game, oh my God, no. But what was your lowest embarrassing moment this season?
I'm not sure.
Say, oh my God, just let the season end. Big ups the United family. That's Ola of the United family. Big ups to you, man. Great guy. He started this channel with us. One of these days, I hope to bring him, around and let's see what we can do. Ola, big up to you, man, my guy. MUFC Global, that's our brother. Yeah, that's our brother. Big up to you. Yeah, Ryan, you wanted to say something?
Lowest was, I know, possibly the 4-1 at City. I didn't expect us to pick much up there anyway, but the 4-1 was similar to previous seasons, and we'd been improving this season. I didn't think we was going to get spanked anymore. and then they still managed to spank us, even though we've improved somewhat. So that was probably my lowest. I wasn't even that low after it, to be honest. I was a bit, I was annoyed, but yeah, that would definitely be my lowest. I thought we could have at least kept the scoreline low, maybe 2-1 or 2-0. I don't know, but 4-1 was a bit embarrassing, so I was a bit embarrassed by it.
Yeah. Brian, 2 games this season. Yeah. See, the Man City games, I wasn't even angry at the Man City games at all because it's City. We know what they can do, right? I was so pissed off with that game against Brighton. You see that game against Brighton?
Yeah.
That game got me enraged. I was so angry that day. I couldn't believe the kind of anger I had. Yeah, on that day, man. I was so angry. It took God to just calm me down that day, man. To come into our stadium and disgrace us like that, man. It hurts. It hurts. Yeah, it hurts. And I was like, oh my God, let the season just go, you know. And then we had to play Nottingham Forest, and that was just the nail on the coffin. And
Yeah,
I
the
was like,
Forest game was
yeah,
shocking.
exactly.
Yeah,
Those
I
two,
think
and
I think
again,
I've
a
I think I've
Nigerian
washed that one out of my
scoring the
brain.
goal.
To
You
be
know, I'm part Nigerian, Ryan. For Awoni to just put in that goal, just a Nigerian tearing down my dreams of Arsenal winning the title. Yeah, my brother, man. It's just like a nail, on the coffin for me, and it
Yeah,
just
the Forest
nailed.
game was shocking. The most annoying thing about the Brighton game for me is the fact that they got spanked about 5-0 off Everton, who have been rubbish. After beating us, they go to Villa and are just absolutely meek and get beat. Is it 3-0 or something? But for some reason, these teams can turn up against us and have the best games of their lives. But like, it is what it is when you support a top club, man. The other teams, the small teams, turn up and play like it's an FA Cup final. The
Yeah.
Forest game was a bit different. We were just shocking in the Forest game. I think we didn't really offer much going forward, and we just didn't really play well. But yeah, the Brighton game was a bit of a piss take.
Ryan, season review. Who was the player? Yeah, that came into this football club. Yeah, and did very well for you. That you looked at that transfer window and said, we did well signing this guy, and this guy is the signing of the season. So, who's your signing of the season this year?
This for me is the easiest one of them all. There's a couple of the seasons kind of questions, but this is the easiest one for me, and it's Trossard by a country mile. And he came in January, not even in the summer, but since he coming in January, he looked like he's played for us for years, racking up the assists and great going forward, a great dynamic to bring off the bench or to even start. He just slotted straight in perfectly.
Straight in. Straight in.
But obviously, Jesus was a great signing without the injury. Could have been right up there, but just the way Trossard come in, slotted straight in. There's no doubt in my mind that's Arsenal signing the season. The amount of relatively cheap signing, not everyone's first choice, but no worry to the guy. He's not bothered about if he's your first, second, third, fourth choice. He just plays and plays his best or tries his best at least every game. And yeah, from the first game against, I think his first game was against Man City in the FA Cup, possibly. He was on fire then, and then yeah, he's been pretty much on fire every time he plays. So, including the three assists he got in the first half against, including two great corners. So yeah, the sign of the season for me is Trossard, no doubt.
Trossard, yeah. See, yeah. As for me, the signing of this season, yeah, that for me it's a bit confusing because the signings that I really wanted them to really like galvanize the team never took it to the end. They started quite well, but they never took it to the end. They never gave you that end to it. You know, people like Gabriel Jesus, yeah, came into the football club first season at Arsenal. Yeah, um, didn't really get the quickest of goals, right?
Yeah,
But yeah, but the thing there was that he was kind of like running the show. You know, he was.
it was overall play when it
Yeah, it
suited
was.
overall
Yeah, yeah,
play.
yeah. It was in it. It was in it, and I like people like that. If you're not scoring the goals, be the one causing the problems. Be the one giving the assist for those goals, and that's what he was doing. For me, I equate goals with assist. If you're scoring the goals, good. If you're not scoring the goals, just put up the assist. I equate it as goals for me. So for Gabriel Jesus to come in, do that, and then that injury just truncated everything. If maybe he would have, stayed up, scored a few more goals, created a few more of those assists, easily would have been the signing of the season for me. So that injury, and again, there was just sometimes he looked lost in games this season. Yeah, bereft of ideas, totally alienated. At the 18-yard box most times. Sometimes he had to chase the game from the backs. Sometimes, so his output down there was not really. It was a bit overshadowed at times as a striker. Yeah, he had to cut in, from the flanks most times, like he always do for City. But a few more goals and a few more assists would have solidified him as the best sign this season. But it didn't end it up quite well. So that's a no. Zini was a good signing for me. Yeah, great signing. Came into the football club, straight up a leader in the dressing room. You know, his affinity and his connection with the fans was just something quite different. Yeah, but again, defensively, his errors defensively, just spoiled the whole thing. Easily, he would have been my player of the season, but his defensive work was just the gaping holes down there in our defense whenever he was, going forward or bumping forward, just forgetting his defensive duties. That was just a big problem for me. If not, Zini would have been the signing of the season. So I have to agree with you. For me, it's a Trossard. Coming to the football club, you know, and mind you, it's very, very difficult for players to come in the January transfer window and put up a shift.
Yeah,
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 because you have to.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Because you have to acclimatize yourself, stay in tune with the team. The adjustment period. You have to know your teammates. You don't get to do all that in the general when you come into the January transfer window. It's just like a makeshift type of solution. Yeah, so you just have to get to know who this is. Get to know who this is quickly. Yeah, and sometimes I really think you need a preseason, at least a preseason, a game or two preseason games to be able to get to know who your teammates are, get to know their modus operandi, how they work, how they want their passes being given to them. But
Yeah,
this guy just
definitely.
comes and start throwing those passes. Corner kick specialist, knows how to bump forward, knows when to come back and help the team. And it doesn't matter whenever they brought him in, his attitude remained the same. Ryan, sometimes it's not just about the game of football. Yeah, forget about it. Your what you use as a human being, what you use as a player, your attitude, your character. It shines more than even what you do on the pitch at times. Yeah, Mikel Arteta had this guy win the player of the month in the month of March. Yeah, and in April didn't even get a start. Yeah, and when they bring in this guy on, no attitude, No, yeah. Do you understand me?
Yeah,
Proper,
no, I get it. I get
proper,
it, man. I get it.
professional, proper professional.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to see at Arsenal Football Club. I want to see winners also, but I want to see people that have professionalism as part of their skill set. You have to be very, very professional. And Trossard was a big, or is still for me in my books a big professional. I give him the player of the season for me. Ryan, Granit Xhaka, that ending for him is leaving the football club at the end of the season. Scored two two well taken goals. Yeah, what do you say to that, man? Before we go to the other ratings and bring in Onome later on.
Yeah, just a phenomenal season from Xhaka, really, considering what he's been through
Yeah,
at
one good
Arsenal.
season, right?
Yeah, phenomenal, honestly, considering what he's gone through, and we all know the highlighted issues and being made
Mm,
captain and being booed off and throwing his shirt down and
mm,
never wanting to play for us again, and to completely turn it around and now get a standing ovation on his final game by the whole stadium, of his name sung out, got his own little song, his own little chant. I say chant, it's not quite a song, it's only we've got Granit Xhaka, and so it's only about 4 lines, 4 letters, 4 words long. Get there in the end. Yeah. So, but still, he's gone from being absolute villain to a real unsung hero. We was going to do unsung hero of the season, but basically just so we can give Granit Xhaka a shout out, because I'm sure he's watching. Obviously, he's definitely watching. He'll love his little shout out that we'll give him. Yeah. And I would just wish him well for his next step and his next club. But
yeah, I wish him well. He was an
yeah,
Arsenal player, so wish him
absolute.
well. Yeah, yeah. But again, will you give Granit Xhaka a legend status at Arsenal?
I won't give him legend status. There's
Yeah.
not. There's only about 4 or 5 players that I'd give legend status to. In terms of ones I've watched in my lifetime, there's legends before me, obviously. I can't really have an opinion on other than just watching the highlights. But
So
in my lifetime,
where will you put Granit Xhaka?
I'll just put him as he turned out to be a very good player for us. He's not a world class
Will
player.
you
He's
say
not.
great player, or would you say a good player?
I'll say
Like
very good, very good. I'm not saying
very good.
great player. I'll say very good. I don't think he's the quality that we need, and we need nigh on world class players to do well in the Champions League and to push Man City. We need players that are either get into world class or going to eventually be there, or very close. So yeah, he's not exactly there, but yeah, and his other seasons have been, barring his little incident, they've not been especially up there. So I'll put him as a very good player, and he'll leave well liked by the fans instead of hated that he might have been. So it turned into a good period for him. But yeah, I'll class him as a very good player.
Well, for me, Granit Xhaka's an average player, Ryan. For me, yeah. I won't really put him on that pedestal with great midfielders we've had. Yeah, for me, he's no legend, but he was just a decent player. He's that kind of player that. You know what? Yeah, our midfield selection over the years. Yeah, I've always been garbage in some ways. In a way, with the midfielders we've had in a way, so he outshined the people who we've had there. We've had Diaby down there before. I don't rate Diaby as a big player. We had Santi Cazorla, by far one of the best midfielders we've ever had at Arsenal.
Obviously, you're talking like Emirates era, aren't you? Because pre-Emirates, we've had some of the best midfielders that I've ever seen play for Arsenal pre-Emirates era. So,
Yeah,
but during
pre-Emirates.
the actual
But
Emirates
I'm just
era,
looking at the,
it's been
when
a
we
bit
went
weak.
to the
Yeah,
Ashburton Greece. Yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah. Which other midfielder did we really have in the middle of the park again?
Well,
Rosicky. It
obviously
wasn't. It
we've had the
wasn't better
likes
than
of
Rosicky, right? Was it
we've
better
had the
than
likes
Rosicky?
of, like you say, we've had Diaby and Danielson and like you say with
And Nielsen,
Rosicky and yeah, this is what I mean. They don't
man,
jump out to you as names. Remember Ramsey
all
maybe,
of
but
those
Ramsey
names.
was more attacking.
Okay, maybe
Wilshire was there, but
Ramsey.
Wilshire was injured a lot, and
Mm,
yeah, that because all are more of an attacking player, but we've not had a strong centre midfielder up until Partey coming in, or a strong defensive minded centre
exactly. That's
midfielder.
how bad it is. So the thing there is that he's the best out of the bunch. That's just the best way to put it. He's been the best out of the bunch because we've not really had big top midfielders at Arsenal in years. Yeah, so uh, definitely he will come through as as one of the at least as one of the decent midfielders we've had in years in our midfield because of our recruitment policy. We've not had centurions and matadors out there playing. Yeah, so but again. This season, it turned it around. Yeah, Ryan. Let's be very fair on him. He turned
Yeah,
it around this season, started scoring goals. If we got the same type of Granit Xhaka like last season, to be very sincere with you, yeah, and he had it this season again, I would say I would put up a case for him to stay. I would put up a case. If he had this type of season last season, I'll put up a case for him to stay. But to just do it at the season you're leaving Arsenal,
that's it. That is 100% true. That he's performed very well for one season. He's not done it
yeah.
in his past seasons. So, and I expected him to go last year. I was surprised when it
Mm,
when he had the links to Leverkusen last year. I thought we might have cut and run with him, but yeah, he ends up having a better season, and now we get rid of him, which is a bit of a surprise. But yeah,
mm,
I've obviously no issue with him leaving, but like you're saying, but because he's just not performed, has he? He's not been consistent season in, season out. He's had a very good season,
yeah.
but more than likely, his
And
next
he
year
didn't
he's
get
probably
any
not going
red
to be as
card
good.
this season. He didn't get any red card this season. Bro, man, yeah, this season has been a tremendous season for Granit Xhaka. He didn't have any red card. I was shocked at that too. That was one of the show. But again, he's this kind of player that he never really had injuries, right? He was very lucky with that. So he was always the number one choice on every manager's list because it was always down there, without injury. It was injury free. So I think that also helped him a lot get into a
He
lot
was
of
with,
other
yeah, that's
managers.
true, man. He was without injury, but he was
Mm,
also without competition for that place. There weren't any other players that we could play apart from El Nene in recent years, or Lakonga, or these kind of players. So he's been without competition in that more defensive centre midfield role. So that's one of the main reasons he's played all the time, is because there's no one else that could have come in.
yeah, yeah. Oh, we'll have Ron Jeremy. This Ryan,
We've got
Ryan, why
celebrity
are you
fans.
laughing, man? It's Ron Jeremy, man. Give
Celebrity
this guy
fans
some
up in
slack.
here.
Cut him some slack. Ron Jeremy, brother.
I mean,
I don't
what I
care what they
meant,
say about you, man. You're the best, man.
what
They
I
say it's
meant,
Tony, my
what I meant to
brother.
say was I've never heard of him. I've never heard of Ron Jeremy.
You never.
I've not a clue who that is. Not a clue. Who is that?
Who is it?
Looks like an interesting guy.
Yeah, maybe. Hey, Ron, man, big ups to you, man. Thanks for coming to the show. He's been popping into the show for some time now. Ron Jeremy says, "How would you rate Declan Rice?" Ryan, what would you say? How will you rate Declan Rice? Because it's all in the news. This guy should, Arsenal is out there for him. 100 million.
You
100.
don't need me to rate Declan Rice. Just look at all the teams apparently interested in him. There's Arsenal, United, Bayern Munich, just to name a few. So that should tell you that he's a really good player. He's got youth on his side. He's still only 24. So he's got plenty of season in front of him, and from what you see of him, he's a great player. So I rate him very highly, and I'd love to see him wearing an Arsenal shirt next year.
Next year, so you want Declan Rice, right?
100%, 100%,
right?
yeah.
Good. Ron also says Arsenal had Lord Bentner. See, say anything about Lord Bentner. I really like that guy. Yeah, I really love Lord Bentner. You know, his confidence. It's not. It's not even about his goal scoring. It had nothing to do with how he plays or whatever, but just his confidence. Yeah, to just rub shoulders with with the big boys in the game and just herald himself as this big superhero.
You see,
when it was just a guy who would just score 10 goals for you in the season.
You see, Bentner had the confidence of Zlatan Ibrahimovic, but none of the skill to back it up. And I like that about the guy. He didn't have he didn't have the skill to back it up, but he was, he was an absolute character. Absolute character.
Yeah, absolute character. Yeah. Gilberto hasn't been replaced. Flamini. We also had Flamini in the middle of the park too. I totally forgot about that one. Did he have a good first spell at Arsenal? I don't think so. But when he came back,
Flamini, very similar to Xhaka. Flamini, he was okay. Then he had one season that he was very good, and then he jumped ship and went to AC Milan or wherever it was, and then we got him back as a.
But he went there to win some trophies, right? He went there to win some trophies, right?
I mean, quite a few Arsenal players were dog shit for a few years, had one good season, and then jump ship. I'm including Van Persie in that. He had a few seasons for Arsenal where he scored a few goals.
Van Persie was a sellout.
Not a lot, but he scored a few, and then he had one season where he was amazing, scored over 20 goals, and that season he left and went to United. So there are quite a few players in the Flamini and the Van Persie bracket with one good season decide to jump ship. So we may not have replaced him, but
Ryan,
conversation for
player of the season for you. Player of the season for you.
Player of the season for me is Martin Odegaard, and again, not much of a conversation because I think he's been probably one of the most consistent players. We've had a few players who have been very, very good, but slight drop-offs at the end where I think Odegaard was.
Was he consistent this season?
I think he was consistent. Yeah, he was more consistent than quite a few of the others. Quite a few of the others dropped off, and for that reason, you might class him as not being consistent because he's not been. We've not got we've not had the performances in the later one in the season to and that mainly it's not Odegaard's fault. It's because quite a few of the other players have dropped off too, and every player's allowed at least one or a few games off.
Do you know Ryan, what I mean? Are you a huge fan of this guy?
Jesus.
Ronnie has a beautiful family.
Who is this guy?
He has a beautiful family, lovely kids.
Who is this guy? So I do believe that Odegaard was the most consistent of the best Arsenal players, and some of his performances have been world class, and he's in quite a few of pundits and fans teams of the year and stuff like that. So. For me, Martin Odegaard, the player of the year.
See, I have my doubts with Odegaard in terms of he has been a very good player this season, no doubt about that, Ryan. But he hasn't been so consistent. That word, when you use consistent, it has to be consistent, right? There were games this guy just disappeared. It was like he wasn't in that game. Some certain games he would just come in and just rough handle these players, and just provide the goals. And even him getting in on the act, scoring goals. But there were also some games he just disappeared from the pitch, like games against Manchester City, both games, th- nowhere to be found. Yeah, the game, the game against Brighton, nowhere to be found. The game against Everton, the first defeat. I think of was that of the season. I don't know. I've forgotten, but the defeat against Everton, it completely totally out of the picture. Some couple of draws out of the picture. So, in as much as he had a great and also prolific season, because this was the season where he stepped up in terms of goals scored. The best season ever for him in terms of goals scored. I don't think he was consistent enough. For me, my player of the season, and see, we actually bottled the league. We didn't get the league title. So I really do think that we should also remember the players that also played for us even before they got injured, before they run in. My player of the season, Ryan, is William Saliba. And mind you, it is when this guy got injured that was just when everything came crashing. That's
Yeah,
when we
yeah,
literally knew. Because you see, yeah, some people were like, uh, uh, you know, it's the whole team. The whole team is good. William Saliba is just one of the best players in the bunch. Well, when we lost him, it showed us why we needed him in the first place.
yeah,
Yeah, started
hundred
leaking in
percent.
goals. Our defense became a defense that no one respected anymore. Teams like Southampton could just walk in and score a goal in 30 seconds. Teams like Nottingham Forest can just believe. Yeah, Everton could just see. Yeah, let's let's just forget all those things. Yeah, but for me, William Saliba, William Saliba, for me was the best. Ram, what will you say? What
No,
will you say?
it's a very good shout. I didn't expect you to say Saliba, so
Mm.
I had my own rebuttal for who I thought you was going to say, and then he didn't say that person,
Who,
so I
who did you
can't.
think I was gonna
I thought
pitch
he was
my
going to
tent?
say. I thought he was going to say Saka, man. I mean,
Oh,
and Saka's been incredible for the majority of the season, but for the past
for the
maybe
past
2 months,
10 games.
he's been rubbish, man. It completely disappeared. But he's
Mm,
still a young kid and he's got
yeah,
plenty of time, and he's still one of my favourite players. So no issue with him. But consistency would have been my rebuffal because you said Odegaard wasn't and all that stuff. But yeah, Saliba is a great shout, man, and I can't disagree with it. As soon
mm,
as he got injured, as soon as he disappeared, our title challenge disappeared, and it's no coincidence. You need a solid defense, you need solid foundations to win the Premier League, and
yeah,
with him gone, the backup in Holding and the inexperience in Kyrgios just just shone through, and that's where we faltered. I've no complaints with Kyrgios. That it's just his inexperience and he needs to get used to the league. But obviously Holding is just not good enough, and that's all there is to that. But yeah, Saliba is a perfectly sound shout, and I can't argue against it.
mm. Yeah, yeah. Again, yeah, Saka, Bukayo scoring those goals. But you know what? You just put up a defense for Bukayo Saka right now. There's some stuff you just said about him. Great player, scored some goals, but is a young player. But he, he'll come back. He's young. All these excuses for him. Good. Ryan, he signed a new deal. He signed a new deal, and that was just this past week. And Ryan, there's this saying, when you eat with the sharks, you become a shark yourself. You become big enough to to swim with the sharks. See, Ryan, Bukayo Saka with this new contract that he's just signed. It's a big contract. Yeah. It makes him the highest earning Arsenal player in that room. Yeah. He's a young player, but he will be commanding about 300, yeah, every week. 300K every week. That's big. That's big man's money, yeah. I'm sorry, next season, yeah, from the Arsenal fan base, Bukayo Saka will be criticized in a very harsh way or in a very good way, depending on his performances. Because when you're commanding that kind of money at Arsenal Football Club, you open yourself for a whole lot of criticisms. So he would have to step up. He would have to step up. He would have to give his 100%. I'm not saying he's not giving his 100%. He has been giving his 100%. He has been Arsenal's best player for the past 3 seasons. Yeah. But his performances in the last 10 games, the penultimate period when we are to win the league title, he didn't come up with those performances. Yeah. And it was really that bad. So people would not be so harsh on him right now. Yeah. Because of what it was. Probably maybe it was earning a little lot more less. Yeah, understandable. Maybe the forms of other players, good and okay. But when you have such a big contract at Arsenal Football Club signed just before the end of the season, it puts a big target on you. People are not gonna look at you like, oh, that young guy.
Yeah.
No, they will look at him as this guy that's a big earner. He earns big money. They would start looking at him like Mesut Ozil.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah, he's got that on him now. So he's up there now. When we gave Ozil the
Traps
contract,
in the building,
and we gave Aubameyang the contract, so is on that level now where, like you say, the critique is going to come a bit more stronger now because he was on ridiculously a low amount. But we need to give him the contract because we need to ward off other teams. Other teams will easily pay it. I'm hearing it's a bit closer to 200. It might not be actually 300. It might be a bit more along the 200 lines. It's still a massive contract. But yeah, it's right up there. It's what he deserves though, because like you're saying, he's been the best player for the past 2-3 seasons. So, and we needed to tie him down because he's only going to get better. And like he's only 19, 20 still. So he's going to get better. He deserved the contract. The critique will come his way, but I'm just expecting him to just roll with it and just to crack on because he's an absolute worlder.
Yeah, but you do expect the criticism to come in, right?
Yeah,
like in a flurry, right? Because of the amount of money he's earning right now, just like what Ozil was facing.
Yeah, exactly, man. So he's getting the more money, and with every season he gets older, so the critiques will come even more. He won't be a kid for much longer, or the star boy anymore. He'll be starting to get a bit more mature with it. But I agree the critique will come in, but I fully expect him to handle it perfectly.
Yeah. See, guys, we have our in-house Manchester City contributor, a big friend of mine behind the stage too, also, Onome Soje, fresh from winning the league, champions of the season, the champ is here.
We're humble with it, man.
Champ is here. Hey, see ya, Onome Soje, congratulations on winning that title. I hate to always give this cutsy to people, but I'm sorry you told me so. Yeah, big season for you. Won the title. You have a treble chance of winning the treble in the back. In the bag. Yeah. You face this guy talking in the charts. My guy, Traps Booming from Manchester United, talking hella smack. Personally, I want Man City to beat Manchester United because of Traps, because he talks too much, yeah? Too much ego, that guy. But at the same time, I don't want City to win a treble. So, I have this conflicting sessions, yeah, because I don't want Man City to be that team that just comes and wins the title and says, yeah, this is us, and go to the Champions League. and just devour Inter Milan and come back again and say, hey, and just win that FA Cup. I don't want City to do that, yeah. But on the man, what do you have to say? Season
Listen,
ended.
obviously, at the end of the day, we as fans, we can have our opinions and have what we want, what we need, what we like, but we affect absolutely nothing when it comes to the players, how they play, all this stuff about jinx and all that stuff. We affect absolutely nothing, right? These players are preparing for their games and stuff. Our little opinions does not affect anything that they do or say or how they perform on the pitch, right? So, in terms of the United game, I think that game is going to be. United is always a team that is it's not an easy game, no matter which way you want to look at it. I remember a couple of seasons ago, it was on crazy form. They went on form and they beat us. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of those games where it's a passionate game as opposed to more a quality type of game. I mean, even this season we beat them 6-3 at home. They beat us at their home.
Yeah,
Questionable goals, but they still beat us, right? So for me, we just once if we can win that game, then for me the Champions League final will be a breeze. If we lose
mm,
that game, for example, then it becomes, oh my god, really? It will be such a shock to the system that we're going to the Champions League final and Inter Milan believe even more because what we just did to Real Madrid makes everybody go, oh, okay, well, they did it to Real Madrid, so there's no shame in us losing. Do you know what I mean? But if United was to beat us,
mm,
Inter Milan are going to go, see, they are beatable, right? Come on, guys, we can do this kind of thing. And it gives them that extra edge over us kind of thing going into the final. So I would like us to just win this game and just go, right,
mm,
see you next week at the
mm.
finals. But in terms of like how the season is gone, I mean, City's just doing what City does, to be honest. They are it's almost impossible to beat them. And like I said, I felt the shift from when they slapped us with that financial whatever, and Pep
Yeah,
came out, and for the first time, like when, for example, they say, oh, you meet a girl, for example, and it's like, yeah, and her friends are like, he doesn't claim you, he doesn't claim you outside. He doesn't say you're his girlfriend. Yeah, you're cool and all that. You guys can go and watch a movie, but he doesn't claim you. But for the first time, Pep came out and Pep was like, I am not leaving this seat. I'm staying. And everyone was like, oh shit, then. Well, dust your boots, dust your pom poms. We better start supporting this team because he ain't leaving.
Um,
Do you know what I mean? So I felt the
Ryan,
shift.
Ryan will be like, what in God's name?
Dust the pom poms. Cheerleaders, let's go. Let's start singing because he's claiming it for the
Ryan,
first time.
what in God's name is this?
He claimed the team for the first time. And from that
Mm,
moment, he was like, okay, even the players would have felt it because it was like, he's staying, going. You never know with Pep. Do you know what I mean? Pep could decide tomorrow and say, I got dinner plans. I'm not coming back now. See you guys later. I'm done. Do you know what I mean? He's earned the right to leave whenever he wants to leave, even in the middle of his contract or, at the end of his contract, whenever he wants to leave. But for him to come up with such fighting words to say, I'm staying, I'm not leaving, it was like it sent shivers down everybody, and everyone was like, right, let's go.
everybody.
And from then it was like,
Ron, do you
whoa.
want to do you want to say anything to Onome or ask him anything, mostly about City's win this season or anything like that? It's a Ron and Claude show.
Yeah, in terms of City's performance basically since December or since your loss since the loss against Spurs in January, since then you've gone on this run. Obviously you're going to look at the past seasons and getting 100 points and stuff like that. But where does this win rank amongst them? Is it as good as, not as good, or better, or do you think your team's better now than it was? You might not have as many points, but your team at the minute for me is maybe just as good, if not better. But for in terms of a supporters aspect, what do you think?
So the way I see it is this, right? And people might say different, but how I see it is I see a more mature Pep, right? in terms of the seasons you're talking about, there was a stubborn Pep that played strongest team every time. No much changes and all that stuff. And, some players are tired and stuff. And, it wouldn't rotate as much per se kind of thing. But the way I see it this season is like he picks and chooses. Like, for example, the old Pep, for example, these last 2 games preparing for the final, he wouldn't care. He will still play the strongest team. And we'll get to the final and players will be injured. They'll be like, for crying out loud, why didn't you just rest them? We got a big final. But I see Pep for the first time thinking like a fan to say, I understand, but I don't really care about these 2 games. I'm concentrating on the final. I want to get to that final in tip-top shape. So guess what? Cole Palmer, you can get a start. You get a start. You get a start. Pep is like Oprah right now. He's just dishing out starts to players. But he doesn't normally do that. We had a youngster come on. I can't remember his name. We had a youngster come on, a defender come on at the weekend. He doesn't normally just dish out starts, and he says it himself, like, you got to earn your stripes before he can give you a start. But I see a more mature Pep. So in terms of the points, I'm not too bothered about the points because of what he's doing in terms of not trying to just create history of points, but we're not prioritizing and say the finals are more important. Do you know what I mean? Players need to come into that game in tip-top shape. That's what it's about. So you get players just playing a half a game. He's still giving them small minutes and stuff because he's preparing for this final. But the old Pep before would play the strong team and so, and he's like, John Stones is now picked up an injury. And that's how John Stones got injured a lot in the past because he's like, I remember last season or 2 seasons ago, a game against Swindon away, I believe it is. And we played Ruben Diaz. We played this, we played that. I'm like, yo, it's a League 2 team. Why are we playing Ruben? And Ruben Diaz actually picked up an injury that day, hamstring injury. And it was out. And I'm thinking, here we go. This is the one I'm talking about. Do you know what I mean? But now he prioritizes and he's like, that's not important. That's not important. I'll play this player, this one. And he's giving everybody minutes. There's only one player in our team that didn't pick up a medal. And that's Maximo Peroni, right? Who came in January, right? He only played about 1 game, I think. Came on against, I think it was Nottingham Forest away. He's the only one that didn't get medal. Everybody else played over 10 games. Do you know what I mean? So that shows that he's giving people the minutes at the right time. Like, all of a sudden, Calvin Phillips has started the last couple of games now. Rodri's getting that much-needed rest. Do you know what I mean? So it's not so much what it is so much the maturity of what we're doing right now.
See, Ryan, yeah, let me ask you this, yeah. See, he's just talked about Man City and what they've done. And to be very sincere with you, this season, yeah, it's an eye-opener, yeah. This guys, it just shows the type of machines that oil these guys, yeah. These guys are, if you want a war, they'll give you a war. If you want that type of poison that'll be given to you, slowly poisoning you, but at the end it kills you, like what they did to Arsenal this season. Any which way you want to go with Man City, if you want the quick poison, they can go on this run and get 100 and something points and they kill the season. If they want to go and just take it slow and poison you slowly, the way they did us this season, yeah, allow them to enjoy it for 248 days, yeah. Allow them to have fun fair, dance and have a carnival, and at the end of the day, we'll come and take what is ours. That's how they do it, the slow poisoning way. But see, Ryan, next season, do you really think that Arsenal can look at this Man City side, yeah, and say, we want to challenge you guys this season again? Like, put up a fight like Liverpool. Liverpool put a consistent a fight up against City for them to at least win the first title in the last 30 seasons or in the last 30 years. Yeah, that first one. But they put up a sustained challenge. Do you think Arsenal can look at Man City next season and say, you know what, yeah, we're going to challenge you. We're going to put up a sustained challenge against you guys because we're serious of winning this trophy. We want to be like Liverpool. Challenge you guys every season and at least get it at least even once in a bunch of years.
We can look back at the performances we've had this season with confidence. If we can play the way that we've done this season and beat the majority of teams and have the kind of record that we've had, we should be confident. And if we can add to that with signings that will improve the first team, then there's no reason why we can't be confident. But then you've got to look at your mentality. You've got to have a confidence, because if you don't feel that, you've no chance. So you need with a top 4 side, with a championship side, challenging side this season. So just to be anywhere near there, you need to have the confidence that you can do it. And if you've not got that, if you're going to the City game or you go into other games thinking you're going to lose, you're going to lose. You need to have that confidence to win the game. So hopefully we've got the players that believe that, because if they don't, then they can go play for a mid-table side, so they don't have to worry about it. So I think we can look back on the experience. We can look back on the performances, the start of the season up until January. The run that we had was phenomenal. So we can take confidence from that. If we can go on another one of them runs, we will be there or thereabouts. So
Ryan,
I really think they should be confident in that, and especially to add in some of the signings like a Declan Rice or a Caicedo or Moussa Diaby, someone like that. So these kind of make them kind of signings, and we should definitely be confident. Because if you're not, like I said, if you're not confident, then don't play for us, because we need confidence.
You've heard Ryan, yeah. Of course, he's confident that next season we can still have a go. We can have a run, yeah. See, Onome, if Arsenal, to what we have right now, we clear dead weight. For instance, I'm painting a picture. We're bringing a Caicedo, we're bringing a Declan Rice, we're bringing a Moussa Diaby, yeah. We get a replacement at the back, maybe a Gehi or maybe an Upancano, or any of these defenders that can come in or whatever. Yeah. And we have a prolific striker. Maybe someone like Laturo Martinez or Vlahovic in the news right now. See, Ryan, Onome, do you think Arsenal, having done that in the summer transfer window coming up, if we do that, do you think we can challenge you guys next season?
I don't see why not, to be honest. For me, I just feel like you obviously need to strengthen the squad, especially the first team and stuff, have more competition for places, and not just have competition, trust these players as well, and be able to play them. If you got these players in your squad and they're turning up to training every single day and playing with the first team and training with the first team, and they are first team players, they should be able to turn up in a Premier League game and play. Do you know what I mean? So trust these players as well.
I'm sorry, I have a problem with that. See, I can't be trusting a Rob Odin. I can't trust El Neni. Yeah, I can't trust all this. I can't trust Vieira. You know, I'm sorry, these players can't even come to, and you won't even accept these players in Man City. So
how long has Emeni been in your club?
Keep trusting these dead players?
How long has Emeni been in your club? Emeni, how long has he been there?
Bro, for years, man. Years, man.
So if he can't be trusted, he should have been moved on a long time ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, so because when you bring this argument of trust,
I remember
the players, there's some dead weight in that team that needs to go away.
Yeah, so they need to refresh, obviously. I don't see why they can't challenge, but I think they need to go into the season next season with the mentality of beating everybody else. We'll sort of, because if you remember the seasons where Liverpool did challenge us, right? I think for 2 seasons in a row, home and away was a draw. There was no winners in the games. 2-2 away, 2-2 at home. And I remember those games very well, because in the last 15 minutes, both teams went, I've punched and punched and punched. You've punched. We're both surviving. We're both standing still. Last 15 minutes, let's just pass the ball and just take your battles somewhere else. Go on your journeys. I'll go on my journeys. And we'll go about our business. I don't want to lose this game. You don't want to lose this game. We're cool. And then they went on about their business. We went on about our business, and the best team won. Do you know what I mean? So that's the mentality I also need to have, to say, you know what? The games against City is. I remember I told you about the game against City at your home, and I said, bro, whatever he does, he cannot lose that game. it's such a psychological, and Ryan mentioned it earlier on to say that was when the title shift started, losing that game. She played so well, right? And that was when it started. Ryan mentioned it earlier on. I was listening, right? So you kind of have to go into these games and just every other team just go, you know what? I'm not even looking at you. I'm going to beat you. I'm going to beat you, Southamptons. I'm going to beat you, Burnleys. I'm going to beat you, Lutons and stuff. Don't let Luton come and be treating you like a FA Cup final and a whatever and be coming and doing a heroic thing again. Beat them properly and say, listen, don't come here no more. Next time you want to come here, knock on my door. I'll let you in if I want to let you in. These are how you got to treat these teams. Just like Man City is doing. Man City will beat these teams properly and they go, oh boy.
Properly. Exactly, man.
They beat you properly.
You love the game.
There's no two ways about it. So you got to beat these teams properly and say, right, you're not what I'm looking for. Because I think 2 seasons ago, you didn't beat any of the top 6 or any of the top 4. This season, you beat a lot of the top 4, so you can do it. So there's no reason why you can't go on. You beat Liverpool at home 3-2. I was at that game. I watched that game live. You beat Liverpool 3-2. The way you guys are playing, you're capable of beating them. But I just think tactically, Mikel Arteta's got to come up with a couple more varieties of formation.
Formation. We have only one formation. And if this guy figures out, it's done. It's done.
I don't know if you saw it, right? I don't know if you saw it, Ryan. I listened to Bernardo Silva interview just the other day, and he was saying every season Pep has to come with something different so teams don't figure us out. And he said it surprises me every season. He called me into his office, and he said, right, you're playing left back. And he was talking about the Arsenal game. He said, you're going to play left back, but this is what I want you to do. And he was like, do you accept the challenge? And he was like, yeah, I like new things. So these guys are just inventing new things. They're going, yeah, why not? I'll try it.
Mate, I agree 100% with that, because at the beginning of last season, I thought teams had figured you out, and I thought you'd struggle, and then next minute you come in with a different formation and blowing them out again, because they have to try and figure you out again. And the same this year, you had Cancelo play every game last year. Can't get a look in this season because the formation's changed, or the way you play tactically has changed, and now one of your best players can't get in. And now Ake's playing, who wasn't as good and is playing phenomenally because the tactics suit him. So that's exactly right. Pep changes it all the time, keeps everyone guessing, including his own players and the opposition players. And that's why they can't get in, because your changes he makes, and that's what makes him a world-class coach, man.
Tony, do you remember when I said to you, right, that in the game you played against us, right? I said to you, I said, when I watch your games, when I watch Arsenal games, there is about the 15 minutes mark or the 10, 15, 20 minutes mark where all the players, there's an injury, an automatic kind of tactical injury most times. Keeper goes down, whatever, and all the players come to Mikel Arteta. Maybe a drinks water break. They come to Mikel Arteta and he gives them information, gives them instruction, right? Yeah. And I called you after the City game, because I went to that game live, and I said, I didn't see that. I said that was when it was more important to do that, because guess what? You're playing against City, right? You turn up at the City ground, you have no idea what formation we're about to play. Not a clue, because we've got about 5 or 6 different ones. I can list them to you. We've got 5 or 6 different ones. So on the 15th minute mark, you're supposed to call those players and say, right, this is the formation they're playing today. The centre back is the one coming into midfield, or the right back is the one coming into midfield, or they're playing a false 9, or this and the other. This is how we're going to do, or this is what we're going to do to react to it. He didn't do that. He didn't call the players in to do any of that. So in-game management is just as important as anything else.
Oh, okay, good. See, Ryan, he's just talked about this in-game management thing, I do accept that. But Ryan, can Arsenal do any in-game management when we still have Rob Holding down there, when we still have Vieira, who we don't trust? All these garbage players down there, see, even if Mikel Arteta wants to even, tweak it a little bit, just like what Onome rightfully said, which is correct, I do think that Mikel Arteta would have done that, but he doesn't have the personnel to execute such tactical genius, tactical masterpiece from Pep Guardiola, because Pep Guardiola can actually make those moves, can actually move those queens, moves those kings in the chessboard anyhow he likes. get his Bishop, move it around everywhere. He can't tweak it. You know why? Because he has the personnel, he has the resources to actually do that. But Arsenal, I'm sorry, we don't just have the resources to actually pull those things that Onome is actually talking about right now. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, I do agree, but again, that will fall on Mikel. Make the signings, then bring them players in that can do that. He's been here for 3 years now, 6 transfer windows. Bring in them signings instead of signing the squad depth players. Sign some players that are good enough for the first team that he can make that he can play like that. We have one injury to a centre back, and then the defense completely crumbles because the bench isn't good enough. Look at that bench and strengthen it. The City game was after January. We could have had the chance to sign, and obviously we signed Kiwior, but we need more established players. We need more big game players so we can make them kind of in-game changes or the in-game tactics. Even the tactics before the game, with Holding's playing, you've got to adjust him because he's not good enough for him, i.e. playing out the back and all that kind of thing. So, I agree. But then, if the players aren't good enough to do that, sign better players. That's all that it is.
It's sign better play. If Stones is injured, see, Ake is down there to come in, mop up the floor with all these players, If he's injured, Akanji's down there waiting to say, yes, I'm ready to die for this team. And these guys, they have no attitude, with Pep. They have no attitude.
Let me say something as well.
Come in and play. Come in and tweak the formation. They say, yes, sir, we're ready to serve.
Let me say something as well. Right?
So that's the problem, man.
You've just mentioned 2 players, right? You've just mentioned Ake, right? Who was relegated with Bournemouth, and we signed him. Do you mean anybody could have gone to get him? Do you mean you mentioned Akanji, who was 15 million from Borussia Dortmund? Are you trying to tell me that if Arsenal,
bro, the mentality has changed. The mentality has changed. When you play among winners, you become a winner.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm trying to say, are you trying to tell me when Akanji was there, roasting away and not playing games, right? Not, Dortmund wasn't using him anymore. Are you telling me that if Arsenal picked up that phone and called and said, Akanji, we want you here, you telling me he wouldn't come? He would have come. So is this scouting system as well? I don't know how they get the players or the scout. I don't know this Kiwior guy. I don't know, where he comes from, or I don't know nothing about him, right?
From Spezia. It's Polish, but comes from Spezia.
If you picked up the phone and you called for Akanji, he would have been at Arsenal. If you picked up the phone and you called for Alvarez, who was 15 million, he would have been at Arsenal. So these players that we're signing, they're not like, apart from Haaland, obviously freaky nature and stuff. These other players, they're not like special players that any other big team wouldn't get. Arsenal is a big team. Arsenal can attract these players and get these kind of players. So is the scouting system as well? How do they scout they scout for their players?
I agree. Ron, do you agree with that? Our scouting is poor. Who are scouting our players? Who are getting these guys? Who are good? See, before Man City brought in this guy Alvarez, Onome on this show. Not on this show. I think it was on some other show. You remember you were actually telling me that you were scouting Alvarez, yeah? He told me that they were scouting. And before I knew it, this guy came through the window. I was shocked. And he specifically told me that they're scouting for him right now. Right now. And this guy came through the window and he's banking in goals for them. Ryan, who in God's name is doing our scouting? Why can't we go on and get this kind of players? It's kind of Alvarez, it's kind of deadly assassins who will come to Arsenal and shoot for us. I need Zulu Warriors up in here, Ryan, man, killers for next season. Yeah,
so,
I don't know, man. This is the end of the season review. I don't want to get all worked up. Onome has just opened wounds. Yeah,
listen.
I don't want to go down there. Don't take me deep down that road, man. Don't take me there, man. There's lots to say. Yeah.
So listen. The scouting can be highlighted to a degree, but for an example, if you look at
Oregon Gunnar is in the chart. Big ups to you, Anthony Herbert. Poo. Oregon Gunnar, Anthony Herbert. Big ups.
if you look at the scouting, well, you use the Alvarez for an example. Scouted from South America and brought in. We scouted Martinelli from South Africa. Signed Martinelli for under 20 million, a young kid, and look at the player he's becoming. So I wouldn't say it was exact. I wouldn't say it was very weak. You can highlight the players in their championship winning team and then think it's all doom and gloom for us. But if you look at it, it's not the worst because in terms of like say Martinelli and other players from South America, sorry, and obviously we'd scouted Victor Roque, for example, who possibly could come in, who could turn out to be an Alvarez or a Martinelli kind of player. So I don't think it's specifically terrible, but we just seem to be a bit tight asses with money, don't we, when one's concerned. So like the Ake signing would have been too bigger money for us for a defender that was relegated, but it's turned out to it's worked wonders for him. So sometimes spending that money, it isn't an issue when you can reap the positives from it that Ake is showing. So I won't say it was very weak. Just some teams after. If you look at the Brighton scouting, for example, seems out of this world. The money they spend on the players and what they turn into and what they sell them for is ridiculous. But they need extensive scouting because they've not got that big of money to spend. So they need to sign the younger players for less money, and it's a risk because they might not turn out great. But it just at the minute for Brighton, everyone they signed is just absolutely flying. But we just need to be a bit. We need to be careful with the signings and stuff like that. But I wouldn't say it was particularly weak. Like say, look at Martinelli, for example. Great scouting and an amazing player.
Yeah, I think Martinelli came through Mislintat, Sven Mislintat, right? The German scout that was at
he
Arsenal.
was a technical director for a bit, wasn't he?
He's been sacked since, yeah. So our scouting network needs to be rejuvenated, yeah, because it happened in my eyes. This Alvarez one, I didn't know this player. It was even Onome that made me even know this. I don't even know this guy at all. The first day I heard about this Alvarez was Onome that told me on the show because I had the show in that day. I clearly remember, and he told me that they were going to South America to scout that guy.
Watch out for him. I said, watch
out for him. He said that. And now this guy's tearing up the league, yeah? And this guy is not even 60, 70 million pounds, Ryan. He's not 60, 70 million. Is it not 15?
We was actually going for buy one, get one free. We was going for Fernandes as well. It was supposed to be both of them. But Fernandinho was actually with us at the time and wasn't sure what was going on with Fernandinho at the time. So we kind of just left the Fernandes one and just took Alvarez only because we needed the striker more than the defensive midfielder. And then look at what Fernandes has gone on to do at Benfica and then now at Chelsea. Do you know what I mean? So we could have had him in our books, you know.
Ryan, please, quick question. Yeah. You've seen this Man City team, yeah? Do you think we all know that great eras come to an end? Yeah. Great eras come to an end. Big empires come to an end. Some of them are being overrun. Some of them through coups. Some of them through disasters. Yeah, these things happen. Yeah. Are you looking at that Man City team? Yeah, and saying, you know what? Yeah, they've gotten to the peak. Kevin De Bruyne is getting old. He's not 25 no more. Bernardo Silva might soon leave the football club. Goddoan is looking for a new football club. He should be leaving at the end of the season. See, Ryan, are you looking at that team now and saying, you know what, yeah? In some few years, in 2 seasons at worst, they are big time players, yeah? Will be seeking moves out to go get big money later on, maybe at the tail end of their careers. Kevin De Bruyne is not 25 no more. You know, you need new, fresh, younger players to come in and replace these guys at the end of the day. Do you think they would have that kind of? Do you think they would get to that juncture where most of all these players they have right now, it will well up to a crescendo that they will drop. Their performances will drop, and other teams might just come up and overtake them. It has happened. Liverpool, look at Liverpool. Look at the drop. Yeah, the drop challenge on all four trophies last season, and look at where they are now. They can't even get to the Champions League. So this is not something that can't happen. Let's get that correctly. It can happen. Uh, Look at Manchester United. Look at where they were 15 years ago, and look at where they are right now, scrambling for third to qualify for the Champions League. So errors do go off. Even Arsenal for 20 seasons, we've not won the trophy, but we're winning the league and winning the FA Cups. Yeah. So do you think Man City will get to that time in this era with most of their important players getting older? Do you think that performance will drop in any way? Do you see that happening?
While they have Guardiola, no, I don't see that at all. Like I said, to the beginning of last season,
I would like that to happen anyway. I'm just chipping that.
I know you'd like to. Yeah, we all would
I
like
would love
to.
it to happen.
I'd like to win the lottery, but that ain't happening either. Listen, so beginning of last season, I thought they might have had a struggle because I thought but then people got used to him or figured him out. But then Guardiola delivers something completely different. So while they've got Guardiola, I don't see that happening at all. Another manager coming in and trying to deal with the big players, maybe, but until the day Guardiola leaves, they might have the big players. The big players obviously get old and retire. They'll still have the money to replace or to build from within. De Bruyne getting older, but Phil Foden will take over that, no problem. So, and then like I say, Gundogan's getting older, so another defensive midfielder that they could easily go out and get. They could get Valverde or something from Real Madrid if they wanted him. They could sign whoever they want, can't they? So unless for some reason the money dried up, say if tomorrow all oil ran out of the world, then maybe City might have an issue because they might not have any money. But that's not going to happen. So as long as they've got the money which they've got, and as long as they keep Guardiola, there won't be an issue. As soon as he leaves, they might have an issue. There might be some kind of blowback from that. But until then, I can only see them getting stronger. They seem to get stronger every year, and it seems to get tougher for everyone else. So I don't see that in a minute.
Let me contribute to that question as well.
Onome, do you see that happening?
Yeah. So in terms of what you just
players,
said,
finding moves away from your football club, do you think that will happen in any way?
Like Ryan just said, spot on with the Guardiola comments. As long as we have Guardiola, none of that is happening because he doesn't allow for complacency or weakness or anything like that. But in terms of what you just mentioned, when you mentioned the ages of a couple of players, right? I think in our squad we only have 3 players who are over 30, right? We've got Gundogan, Kyle Walker, and Kevin De Bruyne. Those are the only 3 players. Now, if you go through the spine of our team, for example, you've got Ruben Diaz, who's 23, 24, 25. You've got Rodri, who's 26, 27. Do you know what I mean? Then you got Haaland up front, and you got Alvarez backing him up. Then
don't dismiss KDB right now, man. It's part of your core.
I'm just stating the point. I'm just going through the span of the team, right? So when you like the Liverpool team, for example, it's clear that the Liverpool team is an aging team. Everybody's, they've got a lot of over 30 players, but not the case for Man City. We've got a lot of young players who are all getting the experience right now, right? And Ryan just said, as he just said right now, we'll just get someone. We all cried when David Silva was about to leave. Even Pep asked him 1 more year, and he said no, you can't do it no more. We all cried when he was leaving. When Vincent Kompany was leaving, but the culture that Guardiola has created for that team right now, it's about the culture, right? And I'll refer back to Arsenal back in the day where they created this culture. Arsenal had a culture, and I think that culture kind of went away in terms of what I mean by went away is like the culture was changed. So the culture Arsenal had before was
winning mentality. Oregon Gunnar says it correctly.
Not just that, the hybrid pitch, right? And I think I mentioned this to you before. The hybrid pitch, right, is the same dimension as all the training ground pitches. So when I played in the youth teams against Arsenal, right,
Yeah.
the training pitches we played on in the games on the 17s, on the 16s, on the 15s, on the 18s, it's the same dimension as Highbury, right? They probably still have that now. They probably still have it as the same dimension as Emirates. What that does is like, it's like a familiarity thing with the players. So it's like when these young players go into the first team, it's like you're just playing at one of the training ground pitches. The only difference is it's just, a big crowd here or whatever. So Guardiola has created that culture already. It's now down to Man City to find somebody. Obviously, no, he's the best manager in the world. You're not going to be able to get the best manager in the world and get another best manager in the world, right? There's only one. It's now down to Man City to find somebody that believes in these same principles, in this same attitude and stuff. A winner, not just leaving your team like Ferguson did and giving it to a David Moyes, for example. Do you know what I mean? So they now need to find somebody that is going to actually follow these footsteps.
Who in this market is worthy of taking over from Guardiola?
An exclusive, I'll tell you right now. Watch out for Vincent Kompany coming into the Premier League. Watch out for him. My thing, what I want from Vincent Kompany is this. I want to see him finish.
Guys. Exclusive.
I knew that's who he was going to say as well. I knew that's who he was going to say.
You knew as well, right?
Yeah. Wait. Exclusive. Onomia just said Vincent Kompany. Let's watch out for him this season.
Here's my logic. Right, if Vincent Kompany can come into the Premier League and not be doing all these Everton and Leeds struggleville and all that nonsense, he's changed the brand of football at Burnley. I've watched a lot of Burnley games this season. If he can come into this Premier League and come and play that football and be competing for top 12 comfortably, like the positions that you see Crystal Palaces and the Aston Villas and just comfortable, not fighting relegation. If he can do that for the next few years, right? Stay at Burnley, do that for the next few years. When Guardiola decides that he wants to leave, we're gonna go get our guy. And when we go get our guy, can you imagine if Vincent Kompany coming to be the manager of Manchester City? He will earn that respect already, because all he will say to the players is, "Look at that statue out there, guys. I didn't get that from anything. That's blood, sweat, and tears." So automatically, he commands the respect, he commands the love of the fans and everything, right? If he's already got that winning mentality, he's already starting to win trophies, he's already got 100 points and stuff, watch out for Vincent Kompany at some point being our manager. Now, that's what I mean by when Guardiola eventually leaves, we have to get somebody that believes, that knows, that, sweats City to come and take over. Yeah. And that's what I've got to say about it.
And he already has the winning mentality. Bro, that guy has already won the championship, right?
With 100 points.
With 100, bro. there you go. He's won the title.
I think Kompany's a very good shout, but I would also look at De Zerbi at Brighton. I think he's got to step up. He could go to a big club. Kompany, I 100% agree with what you're saying. Knowing the club, loved it by the fans. But Lampard was the same at Chelsea, loved by the fans and knew the club inside out.
Don't get me started about Lampard.
But it's the same situation, but obviously not a good manager though. But that's the same situation. But for an actual experienced Premier League manager who's at the minute is looks like he's world class, De Zerbi is a massive shout.
Of course.
Wait, Ryan. If today the owners of our football club say, you know what, we're going into a different phase at Arsenal. Mikel Arteta sacked. Which manager do you think will come to Arsenal and change things up from the ground up?
If you can get De Zerbi,
you look at the likes of De Zerbi would be a good, what looks like possibly a good replacement.
But we have to be careful of this De Zerbi thing, look at Porter. Let's don't be too.
It's not like he's not got experience on his side.
Brighton and then painting them as the next big thing. Look at what happened to Potter.
Potter didn't go to
now we don't know what's going to happen to Potter.
Potter didn't go to
he had a very good season. He had a very good season with Brighton.
He had more than one good season.
big thing.
He had more than one good season. He had a few.
Let's watch him over a few seasons, see what he brings to the table before we can herald him as that kind of manager. And again, he hasn't won anything. He hasn't.
Well, that's what we did. That's what happened. That's what happened with Potter. Potter had more than one season at Brighton. He had quite a few seasons where he did very well. The issue with Graham Potter is he went to Chelsea and with that Bowley at Chelsea just sacking managers like for fun and signing players without scouting or looking at them. It's a very unstable club to go to. So and not only get about 3 weeks to put his plan down. So Potter needed more time anyway. And we look at how quickly he sacked Tuchel and how quickly he then sacked. I think Potter cost him about 30 million all in all, maybe even more. So Chelsea was the wrong club for him to go to. I think if Potter at the beginning of the season went to Man United instead of Ten Hag, he'd still be there now.
Yeah,
it'd have had the time.
Ryan, who would you bring? Okay, forget the Zerbi. Who would you bring to the football club if, by chance, they say Arteta, it's over? You didn't win us the league, it's over. Who would you bring in? The assembled says, company ahead of Arteta, balls rolling. So what do you think?
Leave company's name out of your mouth.
It's a complete different league.
Came to Arsenal to watch the match against Brighton, right?
Leave company's name out of your mouth.
So
okay, right.
Listen, company's done very well at Burnley, but he needs experience in the Premier League. We'll see how he does in Premier League. It's a complete different league. Let's not hide away from the fact. Let's not hide away from the fact that Arteta's got us challenging. So I wouldn't be sacking Arteta and bringing in company right at the minute because we need to see what he can do in the Premier League, see how he goes. It looks like he's going to be fine, by the way. I'm not saying he's not going to do anything. It looks like he's going to be sound, but we need to get the experience and we'll see. I'm not sure who I would bring in as manager. Possibly, maybe Luis Enrique. I'm
seeing some names. Ancelotti.
I wouldn't have Ancelotti.
Arsenal Forever says Ancelotti, Diego Simeone.
No chance. No, not Simeone. Never. Listen,
style of football is not really good, right?
Simeone has been at Atletico for years, doing pretty well. Barcelona have never come calling for him. Real Madrid have never come calling for him. PSG haven't come calling for him. Is hard to work with behind the scenes. The brand of football he plays is shit. It's rubbish. It's so boring. He signs top strikers and they do nothing. He's not a good character on the sideline. No, I would not have. I'd never ever have Simeone. The same. I wouldn't have Conte because he did well at Chelsea for a season, but he only wants to sign players who are older than 29. And again, his philosophy on football is rubbish. So possibly,
no, Ryan, it's rubbish, but he's a winner. Yeah, he's a winner.
For one season, he was a winner at Chelsea. Then he got sacked. He started well with Tottenham, but he signed. The winger that he signed for Tottenham was about 35, and it has been rubbish. So he doesn't bring youth through, and that's kind of like what he just doesn't lean on the youth side. That's what we want Arsenal to do. We want Arsenal to play a brand of football that Conte wouldn't play. So no, I wouldn't have Conte. Like I said, possibly Luis Enrique, but I don't really know of any other managers that I would bring in at the minute.
And of course, you brought in that argument about Luis Enrique. Luis Enrique has been to lots of interviews with top clubs. Why are they not even taking him? That's a question.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
I would have loved Luis Enrique, but the Chelsea job, he didn't get it. Yeah, the big clubs. Yeah, PSG, he didn't get these jobs. Yeah, there's a reason why he's not getting this. Top clubs to believe in him.
Exactly.
I don't know if it is
that's why I've not got any managers in mind because he's the one of the only ones, and yet other teams aren't signing him. It must be for a reason why.
Exactly,
So
and
that's
that's why I'm
exactly
very
why
careful.
I'm not sure. That's exactly why I'm
That's
not
why I'm
sure.
very careful when people are saying Arteta out.
Yeah.
You have to be very careful about what you wish for
I
in
really,
a
I
way.
really, I
Yeah,
really distaste. I really distaste that when I hear
that's why I'm on the
Arteta out.
fence on this one, because I was part of that, of that fan base that wanted Wenger out with 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 what happened at the tail end of his career at Arsenal. And right now, with all those fights we had at that time, look at what has happened. We haven't won a cup since then. It's still the same old thing. So that's why I wanted to be very careful when it comes to this manager who is going to come in and take over from this guy that won't put us in seventh, that won't put us in eighth, that won't put us in 10th. So I'm still looking for those options. Onome, I wanted to say something.
Yeah, I really, it's really distasteful when I hear Arteta out, because when you see, how he's restored
Man, we'll be
pride,
closing the show soon.
how he's restored
Yeah.
pride and restored everything to the club, and brought you back to Champions League, and the journey you've been on this season and stuff, bringing youth players and stuff, and all that. He's, the guy didn't even celebrate goals against Arsenal when he was in the Man City bench. That's how much love he had for the club. Do you know what I mean? So for me, he's the right manager for the club right now. Now, in next season is going to be a big season for him. Do you know what I mean? Because he needs to either match or better what he's done this season. Do you know what I mean? Top four is a must now. He needs to belong there. He needs not. I'm not talking about top four where you're like, you're just getting in and out, and like a Tottenham, for example, getting in and out. No. I'm talking you're there. Like right now, we can name one, possibly two, possibly three clubs that we say, right, they're gonna finish the top four next season. Man City's gonna finish the top four next season. Arsenal, you know what I mean? Liverpool. Yeah, but you need to be, yes, we are gonna finish top four. Convincing, not any doubts or living doubts or scrambling through. So it's a big season for him next season. Like you said, he's been there. He's had 6 transfer windows now. You spend a lot of money. People seem to think that Arsenal spent a lot of money, just like everybody else. But it's what you buy with this money.
£1 billion in 7 seasons.
It's what you buy with this
500
money.
million
That
in 4 seasons.
That is what matters. I mean, Nicolas Pepe was your record signing, and he's nowhere to be found. You can't just sign a player.
We can't even sell him for 10 million. That's how bad that signing is.
You can't just sign a player and it just disappears. Your record signing cannot be disappearing off loan. I'm sorry. You mean you signed him for your record signing for a reason, not sending him on loan. So it's a vital season coming up for him now, and I really hope that he does do well, because I'm sure where my club is going to be come the end of the season. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sure.
See, Oregon gonna have said Jezemash.
I'm not saying we're gonna win it. I'm sure
Ryan, are you seeing this? Redknapp, Jezemash.
No, I'm reading. Listen, I've got respect for Oregon Guna, but he's got a comment saying company won't drop the league when we're up by 8 points. How does he know that? There's no proof to that. That's just honest. Them comments are the worst comments for me at the minute. People just guessing and thinking that this wouldn't happen because it's Arteta or someone else wouldn't do this.
People are just guessing. It's just trolling. I know him, guys. Or I can vouch for Oregon. He knows what he's talking.
No, I've been on a program with him. Like I say, I respect the guy.
You've been on a show with Oregon. You know how he.
I see them kind of comments a lot at the minute. Like with another manager, we do this or we do that. You don't know what we do. You've not a clue really.
And you don't know the challenges that these managers face and these players face. You have no idea what challenges they face in terms of like picking a team and who's like all of a sudden all our first team squad is injured coming up to the finals. Like Pep is like they got injuries. I'm like, where did these injuries come from?
You guys have 3 teams in one, man. You have assassins in your first time, second and third team. Come on, what are you talking about? Why are you complaining? These Man City guys, you're just like these guys that had rich fathers,
I'll give you a point though. I'm
complaining at every situation when you guys have the old money, man. We've come to the end of the show. Rand's battery is tiring out. It's 5%. We have to go home. Onome, thanks. Onome, God bless you, man. Thanks for popping into the show. Onome,
Cheers for showing up.
guys. Jez
No
just
problem.
popped in to the show. Jez, he came late. Jez had his a very great show with my brother Matt, the Southern Gooner, and of course our friend Anthony Herbert. I was on that show. Very lovely show. In fact, I was to come down to the show here, Ryan. But I was watching Jez's show. Very, very lovely show he had today. Guys, go check that content and stream from the one and only Jez Collins. Ryan, thanks, man. Successful season for us as per the show, the Ron and Claude show. It's big. You know, this has been one of my best shows down here, and of course, the continuity of the show is what concerns me right now. So next season, me and Ryan will be coming back harder and you know, and more relaxed, yeah, and more refreshed. During the summer, we'll be bringing in, you know, one or two content, but not full time really, because it's off season. So you know, we just have to relax, do other things, but at any time we have to come in and do a show during the summer, we will. Me and Onome, I want to bring back Onome to have a holistic view of what Man City has done this season. Probably maybe bring him to one or two shows after the final or before any of the two finals that we're having. So Onome, please, I would like to have you within the week and maybe probably next week. So let's see what's going to happen. We have to review some stuff with Man City. So guys, shout out where we could find you. Onome, thanks for coming, man. Shout out where people can find you. And, you know, just talk to us, man.
You know what I say? Don't find me, I'll find you.
I know that big up to you, my guy, man. Thanks for popping around.
No
Ryan, please tell these people, tell them where they could find you. Tell them about the Ron and Claude show and what's going on down here. And if we'll be seeing during the summer and just
so first of all, everyone that showed up, like we always say, thanks to you all. Honor, mate, thanks for showing up, mate. Thanks for your opinions. Always graceful in your win, which is what we like to see. And everyone from the beginning, shout to Ola from the United family, who was there at the beginning and is still there now. Emi Baba, who's I don't think was in the chats today, but he's pretty much always there.
Yeah.
Pretty much busy, but
Arsenal forever.
Yeah, Assembled's always there, man. Nice comments and nice questions, which we always love. You'll find us on the Ryan and Claude show. We'll be here through the summer talking transfers and preparation for the season. You'll find us on TikTok. Search for the Ryan and Claude show. Hit us up on there. We're there. We're there as well. And like we say, just thanks for showing up. Thanks for getting involved. Thanks for liking and subscribe. And God bless to every single one of you.
Peace.
Yeah, peace, everyone. And guys, I have the season closer, the season finale. Me and Deji Spores, I got to bring him on Thursday. Yeah, me and Deji Spores will be having we'll be going toe to toe on Thursday. Guys, don't miss that one. Season finale. Me and Deji Spores will be talking about how our season went, who qualified for the Champions League, who didn't, who had a better season than HC. Arsenal progressed this season, but we weren't successful. So let's put success out of that picture. But we did progress. 8th, 5th, and now 2nd. It's progress, but it's not success. In terms of if we're comparing it to Tottenham Hotspur. So please join us on Thursday as me and Deji Spores go head to head on that one. And on that note, guys, thanks. And we're gonna see you tomorrow with the Big Four. So join us. And Ryan, thank you for coming to the show, man. Big ups.
Tony, just saying, I need to have a word with Deji about our little bet that we had. That Liverpool would finish above them.
On Thursday.
So,
yeah.
Because of that, you'll have to send me the link.
I'll send you the link so you can come
and I will jump in. Because he laughed at me. He laughed at me when I said Liverpool would finish above Spurs, and Saving Private Ryan was right, and he knew I was going to be right at the time. He just didn't want to admit it. And exactly. It's time for me to it's time for me to just come and laugh at him for an hour, I think.
Something like that. I'll send you the links. I also want to have a show with Jez Collins. Yeah, the, at least before we end, before the end of this season, before the end of this week. I'll try and get in touch with Jez. I want to bring him to the show so we could just review the season. I want to see it from his own eyes. Because when I was flying high this season and saying, we're going to win the league everywhere, Jez was like, Tony, man, you have to calm down with with this your statement. I didn't want to listen to Jez Collins. I just wanted to say that Arsenal was going to win the league. But at the end of the day, it's same old same. So I would like to bring Jez and have a little bit of a discussion with him and hear from him what he thinks about this season.
Tony, if Jez didn't believe that we'd win the league, or was saying just calm it down a bit, then you have to ask him why we failed, because he believes that Arteta's failed, and if he didn't believe we was winning the league, then what's he failed at? Because the target was to get Champions League, and we've passed that. We've got Champions League. That was this year's target.
But Ryan, that's not success, right?
That's not success. No, I agree.
We deserve trophies, yeah.
That's our opinion. Yeah, I get that, but just saying, you'll need to ask Jez and see what his opinion is.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, exactly. So I would like to invite Jez to real talk, just me and him. No other person, just me and Jez, one-on-one, talking about the season and what he expected this season to be. Of course, I did know he told me on a show that he doesn't expect this season to be anything big at the start of the season. And Ron, I'm sorry, we didn't win any trophies, so we didn't achieve anything that big. Second is progress. For me, coming from 8th, 5th, and qualify for the Champions League, that's progress for me. But for me, it's not success. But let's see what's going to happen. I have to talk to Jess to give me the clearances for that. I want to bring him to the show this week and talk about that. So big ups everyone. Oh, Jess I just said he's gonna pop in. Okay, no probs. I'll come on, guys. Yeah. So see, Ryan. See, I could also bring you to the show. So let's have a little bit of a chat with Jess.
I'll be there, man. I'll be there.
Yeah, good. Because and you rightfully know that when I started this channel, I asked Jess to come in, and he came in a few times. So he did show us love on this channel. So we have
definitely,
he's one of those people I respect so much, because he was there when I needed a top tier, person to come in to the show and help out. So he did come, and that's my love for Jez, apart from being a legend too in this space. So big ups everyone. Thank you for everything. And guys, we are going to see you on tomorrow with the Big Four first, and on Thursday with Deji Sports. Ryan, big ups to you, man, and thanks for coming to the show.
Peace out, Wolf.
Peace.